There we go. That's a bit better. As I say, I'm nowhere near as exhausted as I was when I went to the fucking rally over at 1st of June. So, there you go. But I finally arrived home. I know it's going to feel a little bit weird that I was only able to get the first half of Nigel Farage's little speech. Truth is, I had literally recorded every other person's speech up at the event, but unfortunately my phone died on me at the most critical fucking moment. It sucks. It sucks so damn hard. So what I'm doing here is I'm making this live stream to basically go over and cover what the Nigel Farage speech was about, as well as just my time in general over at Brummy. So I'll just give it like another half a minute or so and let a few people come in, and then we will get this party started. And I have not had a good drink in God knows how long. Lovely. Just give it 10 more seconds, and then we'll start. So, this rally over at Brummy, Birmingham. My, oh my. I'm going to be uploading the other speeches all in one bundle, because that's how I got the speeches, with the exception of Richard Tice. But when those videos do come up, they should be in videos, so you'll all be able to see them as I was able to experience them. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of background disturbance by, I don't want to be disparaging about them, but shall we say there was someone with different opinions, and just leave it at that, not to tar my name and, of course, the individual involved. Because this isn't about me or the person who was involved in, well, let's say me giving them a few questionable looks, but I digress. The rally had, I believe it was 5 people speaking. We had, I believe, Richard Tice. We had Adicum. We had a new one, or maybe he's not new for all I know, called Zaya Youssef. We had my head, and of course, most importantly, the reason, let's face it, most people are here, Nigel bloody Farage, the man who has so much resilience. Like, as I said before, and to use the term again, basically think of him like this scouring pad. Like, the front bit absorbs all the criticism and he marks them with the scourer bit. That's the only way I can truly describe it right now. And I don't think any other person would want it described any other way, to be quite frank. But Nigel Farage has definitely put the media on the spot with their remarks about him, the malicious smear campaign they attempted, the dirty, dirty smear merchants at Channel 4 and BBC Question Time. Oh, the totally impartial who were travelling together, because I went down there with a friend. We had to listen to their shit on GB News. Them saying how Channel 4 says, we deny ever knowing Andrew Jones Parker as being affiliated with Channel 4 or him being an actor. Despite the fact, turns out he was part of course, a few Channel 4 films. Need I say more? And also talented in what's known as rough speak. I probably have my own brand of rough speak that I could probably use, and I could definitely give the little cunts something to remember me by. But I'm not here to do a little bit of rough speak. I'm here to talk about what happened at the rally at Birmingham at the NEC. Oh, before I go any further, there was actually one hilarious moment, which unfortunately I wasn't able to see the NPCs that went up to there. That is the Stand Up to Racism crew. Because what happened with them is they came from the front entrance of the NEC, and then the security up there very quickly, to use my iconic phrase, took out the trash, even telling one of them to fuck off. It was quite marvellous. And my friend even took to Twitter and used my own iconic phrase, taking out the trash. Because let's face it, this rent-a-mob are only doing this because they're being paid. I swear to God, the only reason they even turn up to be humiliated and ridiculed is simply because they get paid by the left-wing shills. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill. Because say it with me, folks. It doesn't suit the narrative. That's what it comes down to. These people probably don't even believe the cause that they're doing right now. They're probably there just to make a quick buck and then fuck off home. And frankly, I can't blame them. Who wouldn't want free money at the end of the day? But I digress. I think the highlight of this, though, and this is probably going to be a bit of a hot take, I don't think Nigel Farage was the best speaker up there. I know it's going to come as quite a shock for some people, but the best speaker, oddly enough, was Zaya Youssef. He gave. Farage themselves were taken aback by it. They were that in the room. And boy, oh boy, did he electrify that room. Now, I'm hoping that Zaya Youssef has genuine views, of course, for patriotism, loving and supporting our country. And from his speech, I genuinely believe it. I hope it's not a farce. I have to have that level of cynicism, that level of skepticness, if that's even a word, about me, because obviously there are a lot of people in Islam that tarnish good people, like potentially Zaya Youssef. But hopefully, he is a man of the people, and hopefully, he can show to us that he's in it for the long haul. We'll have to see. But one thing is for sure, that man might win quite a few people. Of course, Anne Widdecombe was no small talker herself. She gave a very clear speech, a very powerful speech, on how reform is basically a party for common sense, which is getting increasingly uncommon these days. How she was saying is completely bonkers that we have this complete shit show of immigration. How we're teaching people there are 150 genders, when last time I checked, I believe there was only one magic number as far as how many genders there are. And I got them on one hand. But again, the mainstream media don't want to tell you that, because obviously they're part of the woke architecture that we need to tear down. They do not want us to believe that there is only two genders. And what's sad as well is GB News, on a side tangent here, also having this debate. I think it was Nana Aquila and what's her face, Amy or something, debating about trans women, men identifying as women and going into women's safe spaces and doing all sorts of horrific things. Now, as I said, I believe there are only two genders. And frankly, as far as that particular issue is concerned, if you're a man at birth, you're a man for life. If you're a woman at birth, you're a woman for life. That's the way I look. You can change yourself to a nice pair of fake tits or what have you, or chop off your fairy cave to have a meat sword in your hand. Sorry. I'm sorry. But my point is, more than anything, is that you only have one gender on your birth certificate. And there shouldn't be a way to change that. Because that is how biology works. And we shouldn't be fucking with it. Now, back onto the main topic at hand. Richard Tice also up there. He did give some good points up there. I will critique him on this much, though. He did give credit to GB News, which I don't think he should have done, as they have been, as of late, been on a massive smear campaign against Nigel Farage and the Reform Party, although they might be doing this to maintain the balance, as it were, because they often slag off a lot of the left-wing people, so now they're doing it to the right-hand people. Maybe that's the case, and maybe that's why he's doing it. I don't know. But Talk TV, he also praised as well. That one I'm a little more skeptical on. I can understand why he's praising them, because there are a couple of deep hosts on there who really do a bloody good job of actually having this debate, especially when they're tearing Just Stop Oil a new arsehole. I love those moments, but I digress. I do think that he made a small mistake with that. But everything else he said, I think most of us were pretty much on board on. But the media won't like that. And what Zahir Yusuf has been saying, as far as the establishment is concerned, is they're basically going to go out and say, they're going to bring the big guns, essentially, on me once, and the fucking phone's falling on the floor, or the counter, or whatever. Anyway, this has already run out once. I don't want it happening again. I will be bringing up the first half of the Nigel Farage stream that I did, and that'll have all the things explained in it. The other parts that I wasn't able to get was, I think he started commenting on how we need to leave the ECHR, how we effectively, as long as we're tied to that organisation, we will never have full control of our borders, and we will not be able to, quote, take out the trash, as it were, i.e. get rid of all the illegal immigrants that come over here and commit crimes, get rid of the people who are intolerant of our culture and our society and do not integrate, and people who are effectively a danger to all society. I think we need people, and Reform wants a system. They want a one in, one out. But here's the thing. One in, one out is not good enough. One in, one out is not going to solve the problem. As a flat out freeze on the numbers, so that we have the opportunity over the next couple of years to get rid of the filth and the detritus and throw out the trash into the dustbin of history. That's the only way we're going to get ourselves back on track right now. We're not going to do that if we're picking one from here and taking one out from there. That's not going to work. Net zero migration is not going to work. It needs to be a freeze followed by a purge, bluntly speaking. Freeze numbers and purge the people we don't want in society. The rejects. The people who don't want to contribute. The people who want to commit crimes in our country. That's how we're going to fix. I'm very blurred. Oh dear, that's not very good, is it? But I hope you're doing well, Escox. But the way I look at it is they also Nigel Farage also went on to discuss the media hit pieces, how it was effectively a smear campaign, how the actor had to admit to everyone that he was a part of Channel 4, but Channel 4 tried to deny your responsibility of this. They tried to deny that Andrew Jones Parker, his full name, had no affiliation with Channel 4, despite being found out to have done multiple films with them. What say you, Channel 4? Are you going to lie about that as well? Are you going to say, well, that must be a different person. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not the Andrew Jones Parker that we know. Like, is that really what we're going to go down to? Are we going to go down to malicious lying now? To cover your own asses? Because of the fact you can't take any fucking responsibility and actually admit this was a dirty smear job from Channel 4 and you just want to cover your own damn ass. I will await Channel 4's response. There was an apology from them. The lying, dirty Nigel Farage has always been a man of passion. And whatever differences I have as far as how he's called people associated with Tommy Robinson far-right knuckle-dragging thugs, as we've said before, right now, he is the country's best hope. He may not be a permanent fix, but he will be effectively the light at the end of the tunnel, and it won't be the headlamp of an oncoming train. Whereas if we vote for Labour, as Nigel Farage rightly pointed out, it is going to get so much worse from here. It is going to get 50 times worse, I'd probably say. Because they will sink this country so much faster. Zia Youssef has said it perfectly. And I have said things I'd like to think perfectly as well, in that we need to take out the trash. We must not let Labour in. I suspect they're going to get in anyway. That's the cold bit of truth. But we must fight them tooth and nail to make sure they understand what fierce opposition they face. Because we have had enough of treacherous politicians who only serve for this and power, rather than serve for the patriotism and the glory of their own people. The media will never tell you that they should represent us, because they are part of the establishment. Just like the police are the other arm of the establishment, as I have said many times. These people won't stop until we're all subjugated. And the mere of core mister, oh, God, it's scary thinking about it. Really is. It's scary to think there are people like him around. But Nigel Farage has put a massive sting in the tail for the establishment. Zia has said they will come at us with the heavy artillery. And I'm going to put some speculation out here now. But I think the establishment and Channel 4 and what have you were able to slander Nigel Farage and the Reform Party for two reasons. One is Farage is used to these tactics. And two, they didn't have enough time to execute a full-on plan. Like, they did not have, 6 to 9 months to prepare effectively a sting operation, if you will. They weren't sitting there in the back room, sorry about my love, but anyway, they're sitting here in the back room trying to plan out what they're going to do. They were unable to do that because the campaign was brought out on such short notice, and even more so, Nigel Farage changing his mind to campaign for reform. If they had 6 months rather than 1 month, I guarantee you their plan would have been much more meticulously thought out, more maligned, more insidious, and more likely to succeed. Because they would have had more preparation, they would have had the ability to cover their ass, they would have had the ability to go all potential scenarios with Nigel Farage and find a way to discredit him. And they would have had the means to say, yes, we can hold Nigel Farage to account on this. But because they didn't have that time, that's why their little pieces backfired. And represent us. Are you going to campaign for us? And I think a lot of us are safely going to say yes. Because at the end of the day, we understand the fight that we have to fight. Political war or a physical war. But many of us will do it because we may have younger siblings that we want to look after, who we don't want to have to take up the fight that we are now having to fight. We don't want them to go through the shit that we know is coming in the next 5 to 10 years. We don't want that. So we're having to do this, not by choice, but out of necessity. They don't understand in the mainstream media. We're not going in support of Nigel Farage or Tommy Robinson because we're far-right, knuckle-dragging thugs. We're not doing it because we have these particular views. It's because we understand what's wrong with the country, what needs to happen to fix the country, and that our future generations are in real danger of having to fight a fight that they shouldn't have to go to. That's the cold, bitter truth on the matter. One that, as always, cold, hard facts do not care for your feelings. But as far as more speculation is concerned, I think what's going to end up happening, as said, alongside the fact they're going to have a more meticulous hit piece planned, is I think they're going to go after Tommy Robinson even harder now. I think because of the notion, the possibility that on the 27th of July, there could potentially be a Reform candidate or a Reform Party member down at this event. They're going to be one of those members. And basically, that's the idea for all of us, which should scare the mainstream media and the establishment, that Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson could not so much tie the knot, but make amends and go and work together. Because you can't really associate with Tommy Robinson right now, because obviously it could do irreparable damage to his campaign. Like, it could cause his vote, his figures of votes that he's going to get, cause it to crash. So understandably, I think he's waiting. Speculation, of course. I think he's waiting before he says, I stand with Tommy Robinson. Which I can't really blame him for, because he is looking after himself. I do think, as I've said before, because of my differences, and this isn't speculation, I do think that he is fundamentally wrong to call us people knuckle-dragging thugs. I really should have put this in the fridge, shouldn't I? Anyway, he probably has this need to distance himself from supposed far-right, because, as I said, anything the mainstream media can clamber onto, they'll do it. Just like that. They will do it at the drop of a hat. Because they know Nigel Farage is one of the biggest threats to establishment control they will ever face. I know this. Just how they are threatened by Tommy Robinson, they are threatened by Nigel Farage and his Reform Party. And that's all I've got for you. I'm a little bit hot and bothered. I need to rest, and I need to basically prepare for a hard day's work tomorrow. So I think I will call it here. But yeah, I will be uploading the speeches from the other people after this gets uploaded. It might be tomorrow it gets uploaded, because I probably will have to wait some time, because my streams are a little bit erratic with their upload times. But I'll do that. I'll get the speeches up. That way you can have a listen to them for yourself. And yeah, I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you one last time for watching. And I will see you all, of course, in the next one. Bye-bye for now.